Hello, lovely beings. We are here with another episode of this podcast, Human Light Bulbs, where I talk with inspiring people that sharing the light into this world. And I'm looking forward to this next call. I'm Jalin Warren, call myself MissHellbreaker. I'm yoga and meditation teacher, a coach and a healer. I give energetic healings and courses as well. And I just want to shine a light into this world with a lot of inspiration and love and truth and want to bring freedom to people. And I also want to bring really inspirational people towards you and that really inspire other people as well. So today we have Jalin Warren from the Elevated Mind podcast, and he is a very inspiring life coach. I was also in his podcast, but I'm really happy to have you now here as well.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you. And can you tell maybe people what you do next, like with your podcast and everything?
Yeah. So I'm the host of Elevated Minds podcast. Started it about maybe a little bit over a year ago now. And it's really just all about personal growth. It's about, having a strong mindset, taking accountability. It's about spirituality, mind, body, spirit, getting everything aligned, and really just anything that has to do with just self-betterment and, just furthering yourself in your spirituality, your spiritual journey. It's really just something that I think a lot of people enjoy because, for one, it really helps people to like tap into their potential and, kind of get rid of those blocks. So everyone has blocks, mental blocks and spiritual blocks. And I feel like it's really motivational for people to see that not only is it possible, everyone can have the life they want. All they have to do is just get out of their own way. And that's kind of what Elevated Minds is about, is just helping people to see that you can live your best life physically, mentally, spiritually. You can have strong relationships, and you can just have as much abundance as you want in this world. That's really what it's about.
That's really, really nice. And to let people know that. And also to have like people be that they know that they have a much bigger potential. A lot of people don't even
Yes.
know that. Like you can be like much more than this. And but still you're good like you are, but you have
Yeah.
like so many things that are like limiting you, and you can really let that all go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that, myself personally went through that, just didn't really understand the potential and understand what is actually possible. And, once I started to understand how life works, how the law of attraction works, how energy and vibration and all these things work together, life just got so much more smooth. When you get in flow, you just feel connected with the universe, with God, and just things just start to flow, and it's a really beautiful thing. And a lot of people don't know this. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why I just want to share as much wisdom as I can with people to help them see, it's not hopeless. Life has so much more meaning than what they realize. And, when you can live life on purpose, it's it's just beautiful. It's that's when life gets magical.
When you really feel that you're on your purpose, and that is what you probably feel now also, you're on your purpose doing what you want, and then you get that energy, then you get the inspiration more and more. So that's
Yes.
really, really beautiful how you're doing it. And how did it shifted in your life? What is like your story in this, and how was your like spiritual awakening in this?
Yeah. So, you know, when I was starting off, I grew up in a very, very strict Christian household.
Oh
And
wow.
so, yeah, my dad is a pastor, my mom's a co-pastor. So I grew up a very strict Christian household. And so I knew God for how I knew God in the way that, in this box, And, as I was going through life as a young boy and just learning different things, I started to see, God started to show himself to me in a different way than what was being told to me or how it was being indoctrinated, I guess. And so I went through it. I feel like God took me through a series of things, and that's what actually brought my awakening. Because I feel like a lot of people think that awakening is like, you're sitting on a mountain and the eyes are closed, and like, oh, I have my awakening, and now I see everything. But it wasn't really like that for me. It was, and I don't think it's like that for a lot of people. I think a lot of times you go through these different things, and these things kind of break that construct of your mind. So, like how you always have seen things, it's like you have to go through these things for you, your world has to literally fall apart, and then only then you like actually see things for what it actually is. And so for me, it was in the church, going through, meeting people, and then seeing how some people weren't as loving as I thought they were supposed to be, like as Christians. And then I met people that were even more loving outside of the church, and I was like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense to me. But I started to realize, just because someone says that they know God or they're religious or whatever, it doesn't mean that they actually have good intentions. And that's when I learned, you know, that's when things kind of started to change, like just slightly. And then when I was about 19, 20, I actually got married. I got married when I was really young. And uh, the relationship didn't go like I thought it was gonna go, and it actually went downhill. A lot of crazy things happened. I won't go into it, but when it ended, when she did me wrong, and when those things started to happen, that's when my mind started to change. And the thing is, I would put all of myself into a person. I would put all of my efforts, all of my energy would go into this person. And I didn't realize that what God and what the universe was trying to explain to me is there's so much more. You're limiting yourself to this one person who's not even the person for you, but there's just so much more. And so as I go through these little series of things, I went through a lot of hurt, heartbreak, things like that. And just different disappointments, things weren't going right. And everything just led me to this rock bottom. I got to this really low rock bottom, and I couldn't understand, like, why am I going through all these things? Why am I dealing with all this? And as I get in this rock bottom, this is when I feel like God actually started to be able to communicate with me and be able to really show me what energy is, what universe is, what God is. And so I left my hometown of where I lived, all, a little small town, and I moved across the country to California, 2,000 miles away. And it's interesting
Wow.
how it all, yeah, it's interesting how it all happened because when I always wanted to live in Southern California, I didn't know how I was going to get there. And a friend of mine got stationed in San Diego in the Navy, and he told me, "Hey, come check it out. You should really come check it out." I was like, "Oh, I'll probably come check it out." And when I went there, I can't explain it to you, but in my soul, I felt like I'm supposed to be here. I don't know what for.
Mm.
I can't really explain why, but this is where I'm supposed to be. And all those things that happened in my past, though all these things that I thought were so bad and so terrible, led me up to this moment. Had I been stuck in the construct where I was at, there's no way I would have let go and actually made a leap to go here. And as I've been here, think God has shown me himself in so many ways. I really understood the universe and law of attraction and trusting. Really, I really learned what trust is. And but like I said, I had to go through these different, I guess it seemed like it was negative things, but it all led me here, and it didn't make sense. None of it made sense until I got there and things started to unfold. And that's where I feel like my awakening really started, is when things started to go wrong and fall apart. And then as I'm at my rock bottom, I realized the only way you can go up from rock bottom is up, you know? And
Mm.
so that's kind of how my awakening kind of started. And I started wanting to, the things that I've gone through, I wanted to share with people, the things that I've gone through, and be able to help them, because a lot of people are dealing with a lot of similar things, even though we don't realize it.
Yeah, because we have a lot. similar, and we are just like everybody is on his own island dealing with their own things, and a lot of people don't
Yes.
have people around them that are understanding what's happening with them. So
Yes.
what are some of the things that you had to deal with when you were, like you say, rock bottom?
Yeah. So one of the main things, I had a girlfriend that I dated and she actually passed away.
Oh
And so,
wow.
yeah. So that was one of the first things that happened that really shook my world, you know. And the the thing that really shook me is like, I was thinking, oh, I'm supposed to be with this person forever. This is my person. I finally found her. And then she passes. And this was after I divorced my ex-wife.
Mm.
So, mentally, I'm like, why are these things happening? I want to have love. I feel like I want to be able to have love with the person. And but one thing I learned what real love was, but I also learned self-love. And that was the biggest thing I had to learn was actually loving myself and not putting that validation in other people and not, having to have someone to feel validated or to feel that I'm satisfied or to feel that that's how I have to be loved is if someone else is doing it. And so once, when I lost her and I lost my ex and, had other, pitfalls with relationships or, got used, got cheated on, that kind of stuff. When I would see these things happen, it all came back. I would sit when I learned when I go through these things, it's time to sit, sit with yourself, get in a quiet place, meditate, and see what comes. And the main thing I got, and I tried to run from this for a long time, but the main thing I got was you have everything in here. You already have it. Yeah, all the essence, all the love that you're looking for is already here. The problem is you're looking at it from this person and this thing, and you're finding a distraction with this. And you're trying to have your mind numb. You're trying to numb your mind with all these different things and people. And it's like you need to just sit and learn to cultivate the love within yourself. Because when you actually do that, that's when everything else naturally comes. It naturally, like you manifest easier, you manifest the right types of people, opportunities, but you work so hard. When you're trying so hard to just get it, you're trying so hard to get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, and it's like you're like needing it, but it's coming from lack. It's coming from it's not coming from an abundance mindset. And so that's literally my transformation was transforming my mind from fear and lack and doubt and anxiety and just all these lower vibrational things. I had to literally transform my mindset into abundance and love and light and understanding and passion and purpose. I had to change all that from here to here. And it's like how you do that. It was a very long process. But I feel that those negative things that were happening was the catalyst for that. And had I not gone through these things, wouldn't have been able to prepare me for the things that I wanted. Because a lot of times people, we strive to be this thing or, we strive to get somewhere, but we don't realize, well, in order to get to be this person, there's some things you have to actually go through and experience to actually get there. There's sometimes we have to actually go through some things to become this whatever it is that you feel that it is. Um, there's some things that it requires. There's some things that it requires to get there. And so that's something I learned is, well, if you want to be a patient person, then you're gonna have to learn how to be patient. And that means you're gonna have to go through some things that teaches you patience, which isn't gonna be comfortable.
It's not always easy, the patience. Yeah, that's one of the biggest ones, I think.
Yes,
Because
yes,
once
like
you start on this journey, you want everything now already. But it's like what you say, like also like a diamond is like takes a while, or like whatever like shapes
yes,
you. It takes a while before you and that all the puzzle pieces come together and you understand more. And once you're on the path, you see also the good things more and more. But you have to also work with things that are like what you say, like are which you say, the doubt and anxiety and all that sort of things. Like, how do you
Yes.
transform that? Yeah.
Yes. And I feel a lot of people, I mean, I almost feel like almost everyone deals with that. But I feel like people think that that's like the normal, like that's the base level. Everyone's gonna be anxious and doubtful, and it's like, but we don't realize when you're operating like that in a normal basis, that's not really how you're supposed to operate, and you can be higher, operating at a much higher frequency than that. And it took me a long time to realize, oh, I'm the one causing these things. Oh, I'm the one that's creating these situations and these negative things and the victim mentality. I'm the one that's viewing these things as happening to me as it's happening to me instead of realizing, oh, these things are happening for me. And when I say I want these things and I want this growth and all this, I don't realize I'm asking for these things in order to experience this so that my soul can grow to the next level and so I can evolve spiritually. And so it really it's easier said than done. A lot of people say they want to grow and they want, abundance and these things, but it's literally to get there, you have to go through a journey of letting go of things mentally and letting go of your ego and this mindset, this construct that you have in your mind. We've been programmed since we were kids, and there's things that we have to let go of, like things that our parents have taught us, that their parents taught them, and their parents taught them, and so forth. A lot of times people are going through generational things and don't even
Mm.
understand quite what's really happening. And that's something that I had to learn for myself. My father, he's a pastor, but super nice guy, will give you the shirt off his back. And my granddad, his father is the same way, and I'm the same way. I will, want to help everyone, but I also had to learn there's there's limits. You have to also have boundaries because people will take advantage, and just because you are a kind person doesn't mean you have to let people take advantage of you. And so that in itself, my dad and my granddad would sometimes let people take advantage of them to the point to where they're taking their money, they're, taking their peace. And that's something I had to learn myself, like, oh, this is a pattern. And I'm following right in this pattern. And you don't think about it. We always think it's something like alcoholism, or we think it's something like, drug abuse. But it's not always, sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's something as far as being a people pleaser, having a family line of people pleasers,
I
or
know it. I know it too. My parents also always wanted to help people, but now, like, I needed to learn to first make sure that my cup was overflowing, and then I can
yes,
be there for others in a much better way, and that is really
yes,
nice. But you have to take some work before you have your cup overflowing. So
absolutely.
yeah. And what are the things that you did that shifted everything? You said you're going inward, meditating. What are some other
Yeah.
things that you did?
One of the biggest things that I did, and people thought I was kind of crazy for this, but uh, uh, like the affirmations, so the sleep affirmations. This is something I incorporated. The moment I started to really understand how powerful these are was when I worked at my last corporate job, and it was a sales job. And I always heard, some of these, big famous gurus, they talk about, oh, listen to these affirmations and get in the mindset of making money and all this kind of stuff. And always thought it was kind of crazy. Like, that doesn't make sense. What, I'm going to listen to something and it's going to change my life? I don't understand. But I didn't realize, like, a lot of these have frequencies. They're getting you on a frequency, and it's changing, rewiring your mind. And so I listened to these every single night, and I started listening to them when I was at that job. I started listening to them while on my way to work, and it'll say, like, I'm abundant. I see myself making this type of money. Money flows to me easily. These types of things,
Mm.
and I would repeat it, and I'll do ones for self-love and stuff like that, and just sleep on it and just have it going while I'm sleeping. And they say to listen to it for 20 to 30 days for results. And I thought that this was absolute BS until I started to see things actually happen. And when I tell you, I would visualize how much money I was going to make. or I'll visualize this, I'm going to make these amount of sales, and it would start happening like easy, like people would just come out of nowhere, like, oh yeah, we're trying to work on a business proposition or whatever. We'll give you this many sales, and you give us this, and I'm like, wow, and it would just be like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, just flowing, and I'm like, what is going on? And one of the craziest moments, this one really was when I was a believer about it. I had one of my exes. I hadn't talked to her. We had broke up like maybe 2 years, and there was a time where I was going through it really financially. I was going through it when I first moved here, and I was like, man, I really need this much amount of money by the end of the week. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but it's going to come. I don't know how. And I was listening to these affirmations, and I kid you not, this one day I hadn't talked to her in like a year. She texts me and she says, "Hey, um, you sent me some money 2 years ago, and you never asked for it, and I just thought you should have it back." She sent me like almost $300, and I needed a little bit less than that, but she just sent that to me out of nowhere, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on here?" And from that moment on, I started to realize, oh, everything that I'm thinking that I can't do, everything that I say I can't have this, I can't have this, I'm not good enough for this, I'm in this victim mentality and I think I'm hopeless. It's not even that. It's the fact that my mind, myself, I'm holding myself back. I'm holding myself back from the blessings, from the opportunities. All I have to do is change my mindset. All I have to do is reprogram and rewire and get in the source, like get in the frequency. And I'm telling you, it changed from that moment on. It changed everything. And I actually started to tell other people about it, and they would think I'm crazy. And but one of my cousin, he came to stay with me one time for a while when he was going through it, and he came in my room when I was asleep. Or he was going to the restroom, and he peeks in because he hears my sleep affirmations going on. He's like, "What is that?" He talked to me about it in the morning. He's like, "What was that you listening to?" I was like, "Oh, it's my affirmations. I listen to them every night." And he's like, "Wait, I don't understand." I'm like, "I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but it's real." He starts listening to them for about the money affirmations. He starts listening to them for a day. The next day, he finds $100 bill on the ground, and I'm sitting and I'm sitting here like, that is amazing. Like he was like, "What? This is crazy." I'm like, "I'm telling you, like, but it doesn't just work for money. It works for your energy, like love, and getting on different whatever frequency you're trying to get on. You can get onto that, and you're just going when you're on that frequency, it just comes to you." And that right there was where I started to realize, you know, how everything really works, how everything can life can be a lot more effortless if we just get out of our own way. That was something that I really feel started to change my mindset and start to get more towards my spirituality and my journey. And I just want to help as many people as possible to realize these are different things that we can do. You don't have to, um, some people think you have to go to therapy, and I don't think therapy is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, but there's a lot of things you can find out for yourself. Like you don't, there's, you can use a coach. We all can use coaching and stuff like that. But one thing I have learned is a lot of the thing, well, everything that we need to know is already inside of us.
Yeah, and that's why it also resonates so much, because a lot of times when we hear something that we know it's true, it resonates. You just feel it, and then
Yes,
it's because you remember it already from the past. There's something like, or intuitively you feel that, like you feel that remembrance, like I know it. And but the more you are on that path, you shifting from the victim to like the creator, and that you have the things in your own hand. And
yes,
also the more fun it gets, the more like we need to be like thriving. We need to have fun in this. Like, we are not all here to struggle and
yes.
do the same thing, like and always be miserable all her life. So that is really like what you're doing. You let's see that it can be different, and that you can, like, you are the example of that.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I want to tell everyone it's scary. It's scary doing the leap and taking that jump and like going into uncharted territory. You don't know what the next step is, but that's where the magic is. That's what I learned. That's where the magic is. And, when I started doing Elevated Minds, I didn't know what's going to happen. You know, I quit my job and started to actually like, oh, I'm going to build a business. I'm going to start doing this and I'm going to write a book and I'm going to do a coaching business. I'm doing all these things. And people are like, you're doing what? I don't understand. Why would you leave your good job to do that? I don't understand. And how are you gonna make it? You live in California. And I'm hearing all these things from people, these limiting beliefs, but that's them, you know.
Mm.
And one thing I had to realize, everyone has this, you can trust. Like all you have to do is just trust. And when I had that calling to do it, and I was like, I'm gonna do it and I'm not gonna ask questions, I'm gonna just take action. And then things start to unfold. I start meeting people. I start getting connections that I would have never gotten if I hadn't moved here or if I hadn't started to take the leaps and actually walk and do it. And I tell you, once I started actually seeing this and how naturally the right people will come into my path and, the conversations I've had and the things I've learned, because I feel like I learned from every single person I come into contact with. And it's just been an amazing journey, honestly. And I really encourage everybody that's listening, if you're, scared to do something or you feel that, you're not good enough or you feel like someone's going to watch you and like criticize you, you know what? They probably are going to criticize you and they probably are watching and they probably aren't going to like what you're doing. And you might lose some friends and family. But I guarantee if you do what it is that's called in your heart to do, you can't lose. And the people that you lose are not the people that were supposed to be in your life anyway. And I bet you the right ones will come because that's what's happened to me. And I've seen it happen with others. And it's like really being okay with letting go. If you can really let go, then you're letting space, you're leaving space for the new. You're leaving space for the divine or for the universe to actually bring everything that's supposed to be here and that's supposed to be here to get you to the next level or wherever your journey is, whatever your goal is, you will get there. You literally just have to do the action, take the steps, and then believe it. See it and believe it. You can't listen to what everybody else is saying. Not everybody's going to understand your vision. Not everybody's going to see where you're trying to go. So that would be my best advice is, if you're going to share it with people, just be be ready to, get negative feedback. Get ready
Oh yeah.
to, yeah,
so, so many also, like especially when you are like sharing love and light, everybody likes it, but then sharing certain truths
it
and
gets,
knowledge, like, and then people like really get offended.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're like awakening their demons, getting them
yes,
triggered, and that's part of the
yes,
journey. Yeah, but we are being real, but being like everybody else is, that will not awaken anybody. So you
exactly.
need to be that, and that is it's not an easy journey, but it's like
Right.
following your heart and feeling better inside yourself. But it's not it's like yeah, not everybody understands it, indeed.
Yeah, not everyone understands it, but I feel I pray that I know everyone won't get this opportunity in this lifetime, but for the people who we're supposed to touch, those are the ones who we're supposed to touch, and that's who, these things will resonate with. And and this is, I have to say this, also, a lot of people are scared to start the podcast or start the business or whatever it is endeavor because they see that someone else has done it and like, oh, well, they're so successful and they've done it. And why would I be able to do this? Why should I be able to? And it's like, look, when you go into the grocery store and you go down the bread aisle, what do you see? You see 100 different brands of bread. And guess what? Every single one of them gets bought. Somebody's buying it. And so we have to look at ourselves that way as well. If we're wanting to start a business or a podcast or whatever, the world needs to hear what you have to say. Not everyone's going to resonate with Jay Shetty or, some of these bigger names or whatever. Some people won't resonate with that. And sometimes people need you. They need your voice. So whatever it is that you want to do, if it's a business or anything that you've gotten as a calling on your heart or your purpose, I invite you to do that. And, it's not, like I said, it's not going to be easy, but I guarantee you, for one, it's going to be the greatest growth opportunity of your life. You're going to learn a lot of things about yourself, about the people around you, others, and you're going to learn a lot about what you are capable of. You're going to learn a lot about what you can actually do. And I think that that is really what life is about, being able to challenge yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, and spiritually. I feel like your growth it counts on that. So we have to be willing to take calculated risks and take those leaps. I'm not saying to do nothing crazy, but but whatever that is, that thing that you want to do on your heart, do it, because you're going to regret if you don't, and you won't be able to truly be happy and content until you pursue it. That's truly what I believe. So hope everyone can take a little bit from that.
Yeah, and you're the evidence of that. You just started a year ago, and you have already like lots of followers, but a lot of people that are really inspired by it. And you're on all platform, and I will put them all underneath here, so you can find his podcast and all the inspirational talks. Because you not only have talks of yourself, you have talks of other people, you have the podcast.
Yes,
You have so many different perspectives and so many people that you put on. So it's really, really interesting for everybody. So I would like highly recommend everybody to watch it. And also like to follow your own truth, follow your own heart, what you said, like do that. And like to say, like no one made a difference, is making a difference in the world by being the same as anybody else. So you need to
yes,
be you need to be authentically you. People will feel it. People will come to you, people will draw to you, because they know that you have actually like a good intention. Like you have really good intention to help people.
yes,
And that is like that is felt. And so it's really beautiful that you're out there and people can find you and find your podcast and your coaching and all sorts of things. So that's really, really amazing. And that you have all sorts of tools that you can help them with. And
yes,
so that people can shift their own lives and shift them. It starts like with mindset, and it can just easily be like listening to affirmations, like it's or saying affirmation to yourself, or that is
yes,
really, really a beautiful thing. And that is really something, you can you really give people like how they can take their own power back.
yes. That's what it's about. We don't realize how we give all of our power away, and
Mm-hmm.
just got to bring it back. Just bring it all back and watch how things start to change. It's real.
Yes, really cool. So really it's about like you can take your power back over your own life, and you can change your own life, and you can make something of it, and you can be thriving and being happy, and yeah, that is all possible. Like we are made it possible for us. We make it possible for other people, and know that you can make it possible for yourself. And that is
Yes.
like what is really important. And maybe that is like really your message also.
Yes, whatever you've seen and what you've experienced your entire life, this is not how it has to stay. Whatever you envision, you can have it. You just have to be willing to let this part go, because when you're trying to get to here, this stuff doesn't serve you anymore. So it's hard, but it is worth the journey and it's worth the work. Every single person, if you're unhappy with where your life is, you have that power. You have it. You just have to take that action.
Yes, and it's also that having action, because otherwise nothing happens. And when you move, everything moves, and that people need
Everything.
to know that they have to take action. Yeah.
Yes, that's I used to see people just pray and say, "Oh, God will handle this," and it's just not that's not how it works. The universe, everything transpires as you start to move and you start to take that action. Then that's when things just randomly just start to align, and it doesn't make sense. It comes at 2 plus 2 doesn't even go to 4 with the universe. It just doesn't. It whatever outcome you're thinking, it can get there, but it's not going to be the way you think.
And it's now 22:44 here. So the more you're on your path, then you know that you're on the path. You see more and more synchronicities, like and that is like
Yes,
your confirmations from the universe that you're on the right path, and like, I can just trust more and believe more,
yes,
and know that there's something higher is really driving us, something higher, but we need to be open to it, huh? And that it has that we are open to it, to that, like that love, like the source love, or like that we are open to it, and then we see it more, and it's almost like our senses need to be more, we need to be more aware. The more conscious we are about all the choices we make, the more we can make our life for the better.
Yes. And it's, you know, a lot of people think, they don't think that that will change everything else, but it's like it literally starts there. Those little things, you know, when you're like you said, your awareness expands, like your intuition gets far more deeper. You start to be able to pick up on things, people's emotions, and you start to pick like, sometimes you just get downloads. You just get downloads. If you don't block yourself, then you'll just be at total 100% access to the source energy. And that's a beautiful place to be. And we can stay there. You just don't block yourself. That's really what it is. Just don't block yourself. And whatever reality that you have, you know, say you're at a 9 to 5 and you want more, you can have that. You can make the type of money you want. I'll tell you, I was making 2/3 less of the money I was making now before I moved here. And it was all because I had to take the leap. I had to take the leap, you know, and things changed. And whatever, I don't know, I don't matter, I don't care how impossible it looks for you. It really can change. It's all here. And I know it sounds cliche to people, but it really is here. Transform your mind and you can transform everything else.
Yes, really, really good message. Just know that for everybody. Know that you can take your power back. You can change your life, change yourself, and change your life. And this is a really good message. So we're gonna wrap it up. So, but really, really thank you for being here, for being
Thank you
that
so much for
conduit
having me.
of so much inspiration for so many people. And you will have more and more people coming to you. And I'm just also astounded. You say like you started 1 year ago, but it's like it's really beautiful what you created, and that
Thank
more and
you.
more people can see it. And thank you everybody for watching, and thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.